This is Our Side of Addiction, the podcast. I'm Amanda Bork. Let's go. Welcome in. So glad to have you here. We have all been waiting for your arrival. We've been looking at our clocks on our wrists and our hand, the phone in the hand, and waiting for you. So we're finally glad that you've arrived. I recently discovered, sorry, if you're not in an area where there's the grocery store Publix, sorry, but stay tuned. I'm going to make you jealous. I live in Florida, so there's some Publix everywhere. I almost don't even understand how there are Publix across the street from another Publix. Like, why do we need that many? I don't know. They're everywhere. I was at a friend's house and she had, Diet iced tea from Publix brand, and it comes in gallon or half gallon. And I've never tried it. And I was like, okay, diet, no sugar. That's what I'm trying to be on this better for you kick. I don't want the carbs and the sugar and the calories. So it was diet. There was nothing in there. Let me try it. Oh my God. I almost wish I didn't try it because it's freaking delicious. I'm not much of a iced tea drinker. Okay, I'm in a southern state, but sorry, I'm a northerner, and that sweet tea thing is just not really my vibe. But I might be converted because that diet iced tea from Publix is tasty. Now, I'm sure it tastes good because there's chemicals, and you all are probably going to come for me. There's chemicals and stevia and whatever else is in it. I'm sure that's why it tastes good. But if you need me, I'll be in the deli section picking up a gallon or waiting for it to be on a BOGO special and grabbing a stock, because what the heck. And now I'm kind of, half of me is like, I'm so upset that I've discovered it's delicious. And the other half is like, where have you been? I've missed you. Welcome to my life. If you are near a Publix, check it out. See what I'm talking about. If not, I'm sure you have your own diet or non-sugared iced tea if that's your vibe. Let's bring it in a little bit here. I like to give us an intro to warm us up, bring a little fun to you, share a little bit of what I'm discovering over here. Our topic for today is not that light. It's not as light and diety as that iced tea. Today we're talking about having tough conversations with our loved ones who are addicted, and alongside that, processing any kind of revelations that they could be expressing with you. When an addict feels safe to disclose information with you, their truths, it's jarring. And I've talked about this before. My younger sister, when she was in her addiction, she disclosed some certain things to me one night, and it popped my head off. I felt like I was not, it didn't feel like I was real. It felt like I was dreaming. This can't be happening. This can't be true. She would never. My sister would never. It kind of disconnects us from reality. And I think that's a psychological preservation of self. But it can feel very much as though you don't want that to be the truth. You don't want that to be absorbed. Or you might need time to process it. So you could go in this state of refuting so that you do have some space to slowly digest what was revealed to you. And that's really what we're going to get into, these tough conversations. We're hopefully going to be engaging in with our addicts and how to do that so that we are more successful at that than failing. As you know, perfectionism is not found over here in this corner of the world, nor should you ever expect yourself to be perfect. Some days we're on top of our game, unstoppable. Other days, if I take a shower, I'm successful in that day. Like, that's all I got for the day. That's all my energy, all I can possibly force myself to do. In either scenario, we're doing great. If you're feeling on top of the world or feeling low, whatever we can do on that day with whatever we've got, we're doing good. We want to build and enhance on our communication skills in conversations so that they're accessible to us to some extent. Maybe not fully on that day. Maybe you handled it awfully, you believe. That's okay. You can revisit that conversation or revisit that person and try it again. Or just at least address the fact that it kind of went up in flames and that was awful. That's not what I meant. That came out wrong. I was not having a good day. At least rectify it a little bit. As the loved one of an addict, you have probably searched high and low for some dang answers, for some resolve. You feel very unsettled in this experience. You want answers, explanations, transparency. What happened? Why did it happen? Stop lying. Tell me the truth. We say we desire that until it actually shifts in that direction. And then we get spooked and overwhelmed and we retreat. I remember when I found out about my sister Jenna's addiction, I had questions. What exactly are you using? How much are you using? How do you use it? Who taught you? How do you get it? Right? All the normal questions we have. How long has this been going on? When did it start? What did it start with? And as these truths start becoming revealed to us, we kind of retreat on that. Of course, I didn't get all my answers in that one conversation. But as she slowly revealed truths to me over time, each truth was so shocking and jarring, I didn't want it. Part of me wanted to know the truth, how this happened, who the fuck started you on this so I can go murder them. That's how I was feeling, because she was shooting heroin. So I wanted to know who taught her how to do that so I could go fucking take care of them. That's beside the point. And you might be feeling that way too. We want to know these truths and desperate sometimes. But then when we find out the truths, it's overwhelming. And we tend to kind of run away from it. Because the truth is, how should we say this? It's far more intense than you can prepare yourself for. Far more. And even to be fair, most addicts don't reveal the truth of the truth. They might give you a portion of it, that selective honesty, but to tell you all the gritty details, you probably won't even know them. And that's how deep and dark it goes. The surface that they do share with you, that's too much for you. Imagine going deeper. You probably psychologically couldn't handle it. But regardless, we do have questions. We want to know. How'd you get started? Who started you? Where do you buy from? We want to know all the details. And we can't help but want to know. Sometimes we're lucky enough to be in positions where our addicts are revealing some truths to us. And that's great if we can handle it. You will find that if/when your addict goes into recovery, there tend to be more open conversations, and if you're open to receiving, more revelations about their addiction. And that's also part of their recovery process in several programs, treatment programs. They have to work through disclosing the full extent of their actions and their behaviors and really attempt to mend relationships with people based off of that honesty. For us to move forward, we have to have this tough conversation and disclosure to then be in positions to move forward together. The caveat of that is under the context where no one is going to get hurt. If they aren't really disclosing too much with you or aren't having deep conversations with you and they're genuinely in their recovery process, it could be that you can't handle the truth, or they don't believe you to be able to handle the truth, or they don't believe it's time for you or for them. Either way, whether our addicts are active in addiction or in recovery, these tough conversations and these truths are going to seep out. For us to be successful there, we are going to really have to learn how to regulate our emotions. Let's say you get overwhelmed in the moment and you don't know how to take it. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with stepping back from a conversation. If it's not the right moment, if you're not there that day, if you're overwhelmed with what's being disclosed, you can always take a moment and step away. Whether that's, hey, hold on, I need a second for that. Give me 1 second, I'm going to run to the restroom. Do some breathing activity, do a little pep talk in the mirror, shake your body out, shake out those emotions, shake your hands, your shoulders, maybe your legs. Recenter, and then go back to the conversation. But perhaps you need a longer space. You need a day. You need 2 days. Maybe you need an hour. You're always allowed, always and forever allowed to take a step back, take a little break from a conversation, and then re-engage in that conversation. Our hope is that the other person receives this well, and they give you that space that you desire and are also able and willing to reconvene with that conversation. Because it's not always a matter of, I don't want to hear this, I am not going to accept this. Usually it's just, that's a lot. Hold on, let me breathe for a second with that. Most of the time, we just have to breathe and absorb whatever context of the conversation is going on. And with that, learning how to effectively communicate. We can't have tough conversations with our loved ones, and they're also not going to feel safe to share with us if we lack that communication skill. We're also going to need that to be an element. If you're a person who can't have tough conversations, you get defensive, you get angry, you kind of go in attack or defense mode, you can't expect your loved one to come to you with truths because just the way you behave. And that's okay, because communication skills are learned, they're built. At any point, you can acquire them. Whenever you want them, you can build them up for yourself. Now, you'll have to prove that you're different on your communication with your loved one, because initially they're not going to trust you just because you're a history. But you can prove that you're working on that and start implementing that with them. Ultimately, there has to be safety between the two of you to have these conversations. Why does this matter? Why does having tough conversations matter? When we love an addict, we are in dysfunction land. You know that, I know that. There's nothing healthy about loving an addict or being in the vicinity of an addict. Nothing healthy lives there. And of course, I'm sure you've experienced a heavy and severe lack of honesty, conversation, openness. And that's for many reasons. There's a lot of secrecy, a lot of denial. Now, this is both sides. Remember, secrets on both sides, denial on both sides, minimizing, half-truths, deflection, maybe even avoidance. We've built up this pattern of increased dysfunction from the way we interact with each other, the way we're conversing with one another or not conversing. These patterns ensure that our communication is distorted and highly dysfunctional. Say there's someone in your family who's in denial. What conversation can you possibly have with them that's open and honest and that they're going to be receiving? Nothing. They won't receive it. They're probably going to attack you for trying to disturb their denial. And that's how we learn how to function and survive in these contexts. There's certain conversation we can't have. We're not allowed to have. People are walking on eggshells. We're avoiding subjects. Emotions have to stay hidden. It's dangerous if you reveal the truth. That becomes so ingrained in the function of the family unit that this is how we now communicate. Or this is how probably not even communicate, function with our lack of communication. Whether our addicts are active in their addiction or in recovery, we have to be able to have conversations. Because you can't control their recovery or if they're in it, but you can control your participation, your level of dysfunction, how healthy you are, your skills in communication, your capacity to hear truth. You can do that whether they're in active addiction or not. And trust me, hopefully, my fingers are crossed for you, when your loved one does go into recovery, it'd be preferred if you already had these skills established so that when they start reintegrating with you and they start on that process of revelations and having tough conversations, you're already prepped and ready to go. You're not waiting for them to come to you for a tough conversation and then thinking, ooh, hold on, let me go enhance my communication skills. Hold on, let me figure out how to accept really hard truths. No, we want to be primed and ready for them when they do come to us. Because ideally you do want that. That's how your relationship is going to move from dysfunctional to the healthy zone. When you're both in that spot, both primed with your skills and coming together and having these conversations. Let us break this down a little. Breaking it up like a Kit Kat bar. That's not the song. I don't even know what the jingle is. I don't know. I made it up. Give me a break. Get it? Kit Kat break. Oh, ba-dum-bum. I'm killing it. Okay. What is a tough conversation? Let's break it down. Admitting past harm. That could be harm they did to themselves, they did to others, they did to you, possibly other family members. Discussing betrayal. Remember, this is going both ways. This might be your side onto them. This could be them bringing this information to you. Discussing betrayal. Okay. Talking about relapse. Ooh, are you triggered just hearing that word? All the fear in your body just spiked and your hair raised up. Couldn't even handle that word, could you? Now, most of us are petrified of that word. It's like our stomach drops out from under us. But we have to have the capacity, the resilience to talk about that. Why? Hello? 92+% of addicts relapse within the first year. 92%. And babe, you're not part of the 8%, okay? So stop living in la la land. You're part of the 92%. They will be relapsing. You got to be primed and ready. And having those conversations are necessary because say they relapsed and they need to come to you to let you know about that. You got to be ready and resilient in that moment for that conversation. Other tough conversations / revelations include discussing resentments, addressing any trust issues, revealing some secrets, talking about trauma. Ooh, that's another one. You might get defensive. Are you the parent? I did the best I could, and my childhood was worse. I know. Hold up. We got to be able to chat about it. No one's accusing you. You don't need to go on defense. Or would that be offense? I don't know. Maybe in my head, it's almost both. Go on the offensive or like your attack mode, but defense as well because you're like protecting. Interesting. I don't know. You don't need to be all up in arms. Let's just say that. We should be able to have conversations. Now, maybe I know you're going to respond that way, so I'm not going to feel safe talking to you about this trauma that we experienced under the same roof. Maybe you can't receive that conversation, and that's okay. Someone might try to talk to you about it. Let's see, what else? Discussing boundaries. That's another one you might get up in arms with. That B word. We didn't even go 25 minutes, and I went and said the B word. It might also include making amends. As I said before, that is part of the process in some recovery programs, is making amends with our loved ones. Well, that might be a conversation you have with yours. Yes, this information is challenging, it's jarring. You initially might want to reject it, but what makes it the most difficult for us is the emotional and psychological impact of the information. It's not necessarily the information itself, is what that means to you, what that does to you. With Jenna, one of the things she revealed to me was that she shared needles. Yeah. And she got Hep C from sharing needles. And that blew my world open. And it's more than that, it was the fact that she didn't really appear to care about that. That's confusing when you love an addict, is their complete lack of care for themselves, their safety, their life, their future. She had just no regard for it. It was kind of like just saying, oh, it's going to rain tomorrow. It's like, meh. It was hot yesterday. This is how she said it. So blase, blah. And when she said that, I kind of had ringing in my ears. And I felt dizzy, like the room was moving. I was sitting on the floor. She was sitting on the bed. But I felt like I was moving or queasy or something. And kind of, it started echoing. Her voice just started echoing and my ears just shut where it didn't want to accept any more information. It wasn't that information itself. It was how that translated to me, how that changed my perception of her, or made me question who this person is. How could my sister do that? How did we get here? It's all the things that are happening beyond the information itself. And addicts, they don't understand that, and they get a little sensitive. And I hear this at the meetings that I facilitate at the rehab. It's like, oh, my family gets upset when I tell them, or I can't tell them because they'll get upset, or they get overwhelmed, or they look at me different. I'm like, well, fuck yeah, they do. Fuck yeah, they do. You're shattering their world. Their perception of you is broken after that. And they have a million thoughts running in their head now because of that information revealed. It's not that they hate you or they're rejecting you. It's just that psychologically, that information has a massive impact on us, doesn't it? What's more is you might start asking yourself deeper questions. What else don't I know? Can I even trust you at all? Because who are you? Was our relationship real? Did you ever like me? Did you ever love me? And remember, when we're here, we're talking about all relationships. It's maybe your parent has an addiction, your sibling, your spouse, your best friend. This is all relationships. How long has this been going on? How did we progress to this point? That's part of why it feels so distressing, is it feels threatening as well. Almost as though you've been living in a mirage. Your reality is essentially fake or wasn't real at all. Did you make it all up? Was it all a fantasy in your head? And now I'm being revealed the truth, and nothing is how I imagined it. That's threatening and distressing to us psychologically. It becomes this paradox, essentially. We're desperate for the truth. We want to know what's going on. We want to know the activities they're engaged in. Just how bad is it? Just how much of a risk are they at for perhaps the ultimate awful thing, death? We're very inquisitive. We do want to know. But when it's in the wanting to know, it's invisible. It's just a thought that ran wild in your head. It's just imagination. When we get these conversations and we hear these truths, it's no longer a possibility that you made up in your head, an exaggeration that you crafted in your head. It's in your face and it's real now. And it feels like things are worse now. Even though you wanted it, it tends to make us feel worse. I probably could have gone the rest of Jenna's life without knowing her truths, the ones that she revealed to me. Even though I desperately wanted to know stuff that she was doing, I could have been fine without knowing that information. And she told me more. But we have these questions. We think we want them answered until they are answered. And our worst fears are confirmed. The worst of the worst plus more is the truth. It's the full extent of it is revealed and in our face. Let's look at it from the addict side, because I touched on that for a second and I want us to revisit it. There is an immense amount of fear on their side to reveal these truths, to have these conversations with you. Can you imagine? I would be sick to my stomach. Okay. First of all, I have a very guilty conscience and I can't do shit because I fucking feel guilty about everything. I've always fantasized about being a con artist. Like, I don't know. It's just been in my head. I think in a past life I was a baddie because I just deeply desire con artist type of content. Not that it's victimless, but just being able to be sneaky and have double lives and be good on your feet. And oh gosh, I can't even lie. Like, and I think that's maybe the lore is I can't even lie. But I can't do anything wrong or I feel sick to my stomach. Sometimes I'll think about doing something bad and then my guilty conscience will come in. I don't even do it. I just think about it. That's how fucking bullshit it is. But I think I was given that so I don't do bad things because I'm so sucked in and lured in by darkness. It's not even funny. I find it so appealing and alluring. But I was given guilty conscience so I don't go there. But why give me the desire, you know? Fuck. Anyways, if I did something even a little wrong and I had to come to you with it, I would be sick to my fucking stomach, sweating, anxious, pacing back and forth. I would maybe just write you a note so I didn't have to say it. Like, my God. Maybe you're the same way too. If you've ever had to have a tough conversation with someone, it can make us feel ill. You know, I'm sure, I know I hate when people say this, but hey, can I talk to you? Can we talk later? I fucking hate that. Now I'm sick to my stomach and I'm trying to feel like, what do they need to talk about? What did I do wrong? What did they find out? What do they know that I don't know they know? It's really distressing to have tough conversations and reveal things to each other. They're coming to you with things that are very dark, things they have kept secret from maybe everyone in the world or almost everyone. Things that they don't want to admit to themselves, let alone you. That takes so much gall to come to somebody and talk about these things, to have these conversations with a loved one. We should really give them a lot more regard and respect when they come to us and say these things and have these conversations with us, because the easier thing to do would not be having conversations about it. That's easier. Not revealing my secrets, not telling you the extent of these actions that I've done in my addiction, not to disclose these things that I'm so shameful about. That's the easy way, isn't it? Halfway disclosing a truth to you. It's just so I offload it a little, but you don't ever know the real truth. When our addicts are opening up or coming to us with these tough revelations and conversations, it's important that we hold them with that respect and regard. Because if it was flipped, could you go to somebody and say that truth? Whew. Let me tell you, I don't know if I could, honestly. I don't know if I could. We have to be a little bit more compassionate. They're feeling like they might get rejected by you. Obviously, you're going to have some judgment on them. Doesn't matter. You're going to judge them. You might get angry. They might lose the relationship with you. You might abandon them. There's a huge risk that they're taking by having conversations about these things with you. And an immense emotional risk and impact on them. We aren't excusing any behavior. If you made bad choices, you better own up to that shit if it impacts me. Or if you need to apologize for some stuff you did that I don't know about it, you better come to me with it, of course. We aren't trying to diminish the fact that these are bad things they're disclosing to us. We're being empathetic that it's absolutely terrifying to talk about this stuff. As I said, these conversations can be occurring if your loved one is active or if they're in recovery. On the recovery side, if they're in the traditional 12-step program, something like AA or NA, something anonymous, two of the steps 4 and 5, really fixate on taking a look at behaviors, taking an inventory of self, and verbalizing this with other people. Step 4 of the 12 steps is something called a moral inventory. This is when they examine their past behaviors and look at how their choices affected not only them, but their loved ones as well. In the 5th step, they're admitting their wrongdoings. They're vocalizing and taking accountability for them. And this isn't just, oh, hey, I'm sorry. Please forgive me, this, that, the other. This is really the most proven through that internal work and changed behavior. So, of course, they'll come to you and have conversations with you, but really the change is, are you different? Okay, you want to make amends for all the lies that you told me. Okay, great. We can have a conversation around that. But are you still lying to me? Next week, will you tell me a white lie? Next week, will you kind of fudge the truth a little bit, be a little sneaky snake about something? Because if that's how you're continuing to behave, then the work is not genuinely being done in recovery. And we can kind of gauge the seriousness of our addict's recovery on change behavior. I want you to always regard behavior over conversation. Like, you can tell me whatever, but if I see you being a sneaky snake, doesn't fucking matter what you say to me. I already see you as a sneaky snake, and your words can't change that. We want to just be looking at their behaviors. Since both of those steps are self-examination and kind of a little bit of self-actualization, our loved ones are confronting things. Things such as any harm that they caused, patterns of their behavior, if they're living from a space of dishonesty, if they're holding resentments, if they have certain fears, what their character defects are. They're really diving into that and having the time to reflect and open up a little bit on those things. And by the way, just a shout out to our addicts who are in recovery. Because when was the last time we examined any of those things about ourselves? I'll go first. Very rare. Very rare have I sat down and been like, what are my defects? How have I harmed someone this week? Am I being dishonest? Am I holding resentments? Very rare that we are doing this kind of internal work. By the way, wink, wink. I can't wink really, but I'm winking at you. They're doing a whole lot of that internal work. And I'm sure there are some few things on that list, not saying all of them, few things on that list that you might also take a little space and grace to explore for yourself. It's through this level of self-awareness that we can be led into having conversations with each other. And when they arise, you're going to feel some emotions. Definitely be prepared for emotions. whether you're leading this tough conversation or they are. There's going to be relief. Perhaps some validation. I knew that shit was going on. I had a feeling. You might feel good. Like, I had a gut instinct. I knew it. I actually love when my gut instincts are actualized. Oh my God. I feel like I have psychic abilities. Because they're not always actualized, but I still go with the gut. But when they are, I'm like, yes, I'm good. I called that shit. I knew you were like that. We're going to feel validated. We might also feel angry, sad, shocked, confused, vindicated, grief-stricken. You might feel that entire range very swiftly in a quarter of a conversation. That's okay. That turbulence, normal. You are a normal person. By the way, that's what addicts refer to people who are not addicts, normies. Okay. Just remember, you're a normie. And those emotions are normal. Just try to remember it that way. You're allowed to feel these things. You're allowed to have this influx. You're allowed to have an initial rush of a bunch of emotions and then a taper off. Whatever happens, it's healthy and normal to feel however you feel. That's fine. What we want to fixate on is how we move through that. Leading us into some common barriers we might have when receiving this honesty. We could get defensive. Instead of listening, we might be trying to defend ourselves, defend our position, defend our parenting, our decisions, whatever. We're preparing our rebuttal, looking for flaws, planning how we're going to respond, what we're going to say after that. We're going to cut them off right here and then inject our side. I get that tendency, and some of us that could be our normal behavior in conversation, which is fine. I get it. But if you value this relationship with your loved one and you want to have the type of relationship where these conversations are possible, we want to try to the best we can to steer away from that defensive behavior. The next one is emotional flooding. That's a barrier because you're going to get rushed with a lot of emotions and it's going to be intense. At the same time, you're trying to process all this information. You might have a desire to interrupt the conversation. You might shut yourself down, and that might not even be intentional. Your body might just start shutting things down, closing off your ears, disconnecting you to reality, morphing sound so it doesn't enter your head. You might feel like you're being attacked. Remember our example? Say you're the parent and you might feel attacked. Well, I didn't cause this, and this was your choice. I did the best that I could. You felt attacked, so then you went and attacked. And you might withdraw. Withdraw from the conversation, withdraw from what's being said, because it's so intense. Another barrier is demanding immediate answers. You want all the details right now because you said so. I get it. Like, that's what I did in the bathroom when Jenna told me she was an addict. Tell me all the fucking details. Give me numbers. Give me names right now. Because I said so. Because I want it right now. Very demanding. Expecting immediate answers from them. That's not a conversation. That's a dictation. I'm dictating, you're going to do this right now because I said so. We're responding like that because we're highly emotional. We're distressed in that moment. But going back to what I said about safety, no one wants to have a conversation with people like that. If someone walked up to you in the street and started demanding something from you, what are you going to do? You tell them to fuck off, right? The fuck are you? Get out of my face. Tell me what to do? You're automatically shut off. That's not a safe space. That's not an exchange. That's not a conversation. We want to try to back away from that demanding immediate answers, what you want to know right now. Because maybe they're not ready. Maybe they don't think you're ready. Maybe that's not something they're able to disclose for whatever reason. And the last barrier I have here is seeking closure too quickly. We might have one conversation and expect it to be closed. Okay, we never have to talk about that again. Okay, that's a dead subject. Okay, that's it. For whatever reason, maybe you want it to be closed. You can't handle it. If it continues, you couldn't handle another conversation around that subject or topic. This seeking everything to be a open and shut case. Open and shut conversation. Sometimes we need to have multiple conversations about stuff. Say you and I had a conversation, we hashed some things out. Maybe in 3 days, I'm thinking about something related to that conversation. Or something kind of adjacent to it popped up in my head. Or I have a question about something you said. Or maybe I didn't like the way I delivered something and I kind of want to go back on it and adjust my stance. We should be able to come back to that conversation. We should be able to rediscuss it or realign on some things or hit some points that we missed. We don't want everything to be open and shut. Building a healthy relationship ensures that we both feel safe revisiting a conversation. Say they didn't get the closure they needed in the conversation, but for you, you're like, I'm done. They should have the space to come back to you and say, hey, I'm still looking for something in that conversation. Can we just hit on a few more points? You should be willing to do that as well. It's not, oh no, I've got my closure. Figure your side out. You should be able to bear witness and sit in that conversation with them again if they're still needing something from it. And that's both ways. I hope you can go to them in the same context and say, hey, I feel very unresolved. Can we touch on that again, please? Because that just might be me, but I feel unsettled. And I hope, fingers crossed, that they're holding space for you to go ahead and do that as well. Next, we're gonna discuss how to stay regulated during these difficult conversations. That's the name of the game. The one who stays regulated is the one who's in control of themselves and in a power position. And that's where I want you to be, in the power seat. Not only that, but like, what conversation are you having with somebody that's productive when one or both people are dysregulated? Have you ever tried having a conversation with someone dysregulated? You can't. You can't say shit to them. If you're having a conversation and someone starts getting in a huffy and starts getting defensive or making faces or getting riled up, you instantly disconnect. You're like, no, not getting anywhere with this. Instantly you disconnect from that because you know it's not going to go anywhere. It's not going to be productive because they're dysregulated. We don't want you to be looking or acting like that. We first want to recognize what that might look like because it could be different for each of us. Your thoughts start racing. Maybe you're getting a little defensive. Your chest feels tight. You can feel your blood pressure rising and your skin getting hot. You're having this urge to interrupt. Might be something else. Those are just a few examples. Recognizing what your signals are to yourself that, oh my gosh, I'm starting to get upset. I'm starting to get dysregulated. That's the first one. Then we want to slow it down. And this might be bringing in that pause that we talked about at the beginning. I need to take a moment. Can you please reframe that? Because I'm not sure I heard that correctly or clearly. This is a lot for me to process right now. Hold on, please. Give me one moment. And you can say it nice. Please give me one moment. You don't have to yell at them. I'm trying to figure this out. Are you throwing this in my face? No. We're chill. Okay, that's a lot. I'm feeling a little disoriented. So hold up. Let's just set a timer for 5 minutes and we'll come back in 5 minutes. Right here, we'll put a pin in the conversation and we'll come back to this exact spot and continue. That gives you a moment to do your breaths, to give yourself a pep talk, to shake things off, to realign yourself. Maybe even gives your body a moment to catch up. If your ears started closing and the room started spinning, this little break might give you a moment for your body to recenter itself. We then want to focus on listening. That's so powerful, and communication is listening. And you don't have to immediately respond. Just like you always have an option for a pause, you always have an option to not immediately respond. Because sometimes we don't even know what the fuck to say. Like, what do you say to that? When your sister's like, oh yeah, I shared needles and now I have Hep C. Like, what the fuck? These aren't normal conversations that you're prepared for. This shit is altering your reality. You might not know what the fuck to say in that moment. Because holy God. And that's okay. You don't have to know what to say. Your response does not need to be curated or perfect. And you don't have to rush to insert a response when you don't know what the fuck to do. I'm not even sure I know how to respond to that. That was a lot of information and I really wasn't expecting that. Please, you'll have to give me a moment. I don't really even know what to say to that. This is very jarring for me. You can say that you don't know what to say. That could be your response. First, listening. It's not agreeing. It's not excusing. It's just absorbing what they want to express to us. If you aren't sitting there and listening to them, then you can't hear what they're wanting to say to you. If you're sitting there half listening, plotting a response, then you're also not listening to what they're trying to say to you. Trying our best to be fully present when possible. The next one is separating information from action. You don't have to take immediate action on something. Depending what was said to you, it might not render any need for a response or action. And I would say it's better not to in the moment because you're going to have an emotional response. It's probably better just to sit and process, let that influx of emotion taper off, and then formulate a response. There's no need for immediate decision or action. Okay, the next one is curating a safe space. The only way I'm telling you anything about myself is if I feel safe with you. The only way. This is just between us, or I know you're going to stay level. I know there's not going to be a fight here. You're not going to attack me. You're not going to call me a name. You're not going to reject me. It's only under that safety that we can discuss things with each other. If we don't feel safe, we're not going to converse, period. And you know that to be true. Anything that's in your heart, you're only disclosing that where it's safe. If you want your addict to discuss things with you, they have to feel safe with you. Now, perhaps there's a history of not being safe with you. You can't then demand that they have tough conversations with you. Maybe you're wondering why they're not making amends with you according to their 12-step program. Perhaps you have not told them or shown them that the space with you is safe to do so. Perhaps you're still needing to work on some communication skills and show that off to them. Show them that they are safe with you if they want to try, and let them test. Because if you came from a space where it wasn't safe to talk and you're trying to level up in that and you're trying to create a safe space and you tell them that, they're going to test it a little. They're going to throw something at you and they're going to watch and see how you respond. Are they calm? Did that dysregulate them? Did they shut down immediately? Did they interrupt me? They're going to throw you a little test just to see how you act. And then if you are aligned with the safety, then they might lean in a little bit more. But we can't expect our loved ones to come to us if we haven't curated the environment for it. And that goes for you with them as well. Obviously, there's a safety issue with an addict, even if they're in recovery. There's a lot of trust issues. If we haven't rebuilt our trust with them, it's not going to feel safe. You also might be testing the waters with them. Just know your level of conversation is always going to be based on your level of safety with each other. That means being respectful in your communication with one another. Limiting interruptions, actively listening to them, being patient, perhaps being curious. You could ask inquisitive questions of them, and upholding your B word, your boundaries, and respecting their boundaries as well. It's just trying to refrain from having a hostile environment. We could practice certain phrases that are going to help us in this. Can you tell me more about that? Can you tell me more about this? Ask them. Maybe they're not comfortable to say more. But are you? Can you? Give them that respect. Can you help me understand this? Because I don't really understand that. And you can say it very neutral. And if an addict is serious about their recovery, they're happy to explain it to you. They want you to understand them better. You can just say, why would you do that? What was the point of that? What were you hoping to gain? What did you gain? Not in an accusatory, aggressive manner, but let me explain it. And using your curiosity. You can say, I appreciate your honesty. I appreciate the fact that you came to me and said that. because that must have been difficult to say. I need a little time to process that. There's some ideas for some things that are going to be helpful to curate safety in our communication. To keep it open and make sure both people feel comfortable. Let's move into some communication skills specifically that are going to help you out in this new venture of yours of tough conversations and revelations. Reflective listening. Maybe that means repeating back what you just heard. What I'm hearing is, how I understand that is, what I'm seeing from that is, just to repeat it back to make sure you guys are on the same page, but also sometimes to clarify. Great skill. And look, all of these skills right here that I'm about to talk about, you can practice them with anyone. All of these communication skills are practiced with anyone, and start implementing them. And if you're an isolator, no worries. Try it at work. Try it with a stranger at the grocery store. Go to the library and find a random person, ask them a question about something, and practice one of these skills. The next one, validation. We all want to be validated. We all want to be seen and understood and feel like this person gets me. It's a matter of acknowledging someone's experience. We don't have to agree. It's acknowledging. That's it. I can understand why that was difficult for you. I can see how that led to this. I can see the escalation of that situation. That must have been horrific. We're just acknowledging them and where they're coming from. Then we have curiosity. Asking inquisitive questions. We aren't judging. There's a big difference between, why did you do that? And I'm curious, what were you hoping to get out of doing that? What was the point of that? So different. And if you're coming in all ratchet like the first one, nobody wants to have a conversation with you like that. And no one wants to even answer that. When you're curious, like, help me understand what was the point of that, or how that led to this thing over here, and you say it calm and neutral and as a curious person, people will love to explore that more with you because they want to be understood. So people are usually happy to go a little bit deeper with it so you get to understand them. And then the last one I have here, we do this at the group meetings at the rehab. This is a big one. We use I statements. Not, you are a liar, you always lie. I felt hurt. I felt disappointed. I felt discouraged. We aren't saying you did this, that, and the other to me. You're relaying your experience and how you received that. I feel disappointed. I feel a little heartbroken right now. Not, you broke my heart. You always lie. You always disappoint me. No. Back it up. I felt really disappointed by that. My feelings got hurt. Using those I statements helps from the other person, helps to prevent them from feeling attacked. Because if I'm saying I felt hurt, they're not going to receive that as an attack. Versus, you always do that. Like, I'm being attacked right now. Right? Use your I statements. This is going to help us reduce defensiveness, help getting both of us riled up. How do you feel? We went through some do's, a lot of do's. I want to touch on some don'ts. Okay. Don't do any of these in tough conversations. Don't you fucking dare weaponize their honesty. Don't do it. There might be a temptation. And I get you. You have a lot of vengeance in you. They have drugged you through the mud. They have absolutely gutted you. I get it. But if we're trying to be a better person and a better communicator, we're trying to prime ourselves for betterment, we're not going to be weaponizing honesty. We aren't throwing this in anybody's face later on. And you know that feels so horrible when you share something with somebody and then they use it against you later, or they bring it up with other people around. I hate all that. I hate when people do that. If you never want me to say anything to you again, just do that to me once. Yeah, humiliate me one time and that's fucking it. And I'm sure you feel the same. So we're not going to be conducting ourselves in that manner. This is going to block any advancement for your relationship. If you're still stuck on something, you don't throw it in their face. You have a grown conversation about it. And you reveal the fact that you're still processing that and you still have some resentment or anger around that. You don't make them pay thinking that's going to balance the scale. We have conversations with each other. The next don't. Demanding perfection. We aren't perfect over here. They aren't perfect. You aren't perfect. Recovery is not a perfect process. There are a ton of setbacks. 1 step forward, 12 back, quite often. Everybody is doing their best on that day. Don't expect instant transformation, instant changes from a crazy active addict to the most supreme citizen ever. Don't expect that. We also are not going to be turning a conversation into a trial. We aren't asking for evidence, asking for defense or lawyers or persecuting people. The goal is just understanding between two parties. It's not winning. It's not anything else. We just want to understand each other and have our sides be seen. The last don't I have is trying to bring up every single past hurt in one conversation. Don't ever do this. Y'all know I give this advice. Don't even have these crazy my side of the story conversations with your addict until at least 12 months into their recovery. They don't need that shit on them. They really don't need you offloading onto them within the first 12 months of their sobriety. You got to hold off on it. You got to process it on your side. We have this desire to offload onto our addicts thinking that's where our resolve will come. Doesn't come there. You're overloading them. And we definitely can't even be having one conversation to offload all the stuff that you're holding on to. We don't want to crunch it, and you're not even going to get the satisfaction that you're desiring. Because secret revealed right now, it's not ever even going to come from them. Yeah, you think it might, you think it will, it won't. And it sure as heck is not going to come from one really intense, super long conversation with them. Stay focused on whatever the objective is or wherever the conversation is moving, and don't try to cram extra stuff in there or seize this opportunity to offload onto them, especially if it's in the first 12 months. And say it's because they're going to come to you with tough conversations within that first 12 months. It's part of their process. Let them have the conversation with you, and maybe you do say a little bit on your side if you want to, a little. You're not fully pressing in until much later. Let's touch on a few misconceptions around tough conversations and revelations. The first one: if they're honest, I should immediately forgive them. And they might even expect you to behave that way. If I disclose it, they should immediately forgive me. I see this from addicts a lot. They think because they're feeling better that everyone else should just jump aboard their boat. Just act fine, act normal, be happy, be back to normal. They might expect that from you, but you might expect that from them. Expect that from yourself. Oh, you disclosed that? Okay, I forgive you. Oh, okay, it's fine. Oh, okay. You drained my bank account and you found my safe in the floor and you took everything. Oh, it's okay. No worries. We're good. Forgiveness is a process, and you're handling everything on your side here. You are allowed to move through your process in your own time. And I don't give a dang what anyone says. I don't care how amazing your addict is doing and feeling. You are not to be rushed. You are not to be forced into forgiving them or acting like everything is fine. Hell no. Hell no. Let them know I said so too. Just let them know, or bring them on over here and I'll let them know for you. It's a process. You're not supposed to immediately forgive people, and you're also not supposed to immediately be forgiven. The next misconception is, if I get angry, I've failed. I'm a bad person. I ruined the conversation. No, you didn't. You're fine. Emotions are normal. Sometimes we get dysregulated. Sometimes it just goes far beyond us reeling it back in, and that's just what happened. It's okay. Say you do start getting defensive in a conversation with them, and you do start saying, well, you always do this and that. You get riled up, okay? That's fine. The correct thing to do is have some reflection time. When you're alone, reflect back on the conversation, at what point it went south, what were the warning signs that it was going south, how was your body feeling, what you could have done to mitigate that. And once you've done your analysis of yourself, go back to your loved one as soon as you can and explain to them, I got really dysregulated. That's not the standard I want to set for us. I'm trying to work through my things. I'm trying to learn how to be a better communicator. And that got out of hand very quickly. Are you open to giving that conversation another try? Because I would love to try that entire conversation again with you. Big girl pants, big boy pants, right? We're adulting over here. Go back to them and disclose that. And they're on their journey of becoming a better person, especially if they're in recovery. That's their whole objective. If you come to them with that honesty, they will have no other choice but to have that conversation with you. They might do it right there in that moment because they understand how it feels to try to be a better person and not be the greatest every day. They go through that regularly. So when you come to them with that honesty, they're going to be so forgiving and empathetic with you. That's all it is. We're not perfect over here. The next misconception: one conversation is going to fix everything. This goes back to what we just said. You're putting too much stress and strain and forcing one conversation to be everything to both of y'all. It's not possible. You can't repair a relationship in one conversation. You can't talk about everything that happened. You can't run through all that you've invested and sacrificed. They can't talk about their side of everything. You can't address any kind of issues. We want to stay in our topic and not bounce around and try to cover everything in one conversation because we're thinking, this is my only moment. Should not be your only moment. If you're going to have a healthy relationship where you come back together, you should always have space for each other to have tough conversations. Okay, maybe not today. I had a tough day, or this week has been crazy. I don't have the mental space for it. Okay, that's fine. We'll address it next week then. It's not a one-time thing, a one limited time offer that you're having this conversation. And then the last one is, if they love me, they will tell me everything immediately. You wouldn't even want that. There's no way. Even if you think that's what you want, you would never want to know everything in one conversation. And I don't want us to get in the habit of holding love over somebody's head. If they love me, they would change. If they love me, they'd go to rehab. If they love me, they would tell me everything when I say so. Can you stop holding love over people's heads and acting like it's a command? Just because you want to know something doesn't mean I have to tell you. Whether I love you or not, I don't got to tell you anything. And especially if you're demanding of me, shit, I'll make you weigh double just because you demanded. But I'm spiteful, so maybe that's personal. So spiteful. Don't tell me shit. Don't burst my illusion of freedom. I need to feel free. That we're not going to hold love over our loved ones' heads. We're not going to use love as leverage or some kind of bargaining chip. This is gradual. Their recovery is gradual. Your recovery from this is gradual. Your relationship rebuilding, gradual as well. We want to develop the space to be honest and learn how to have conversations with each other over time. As the loved one of an addict, you have spent a long time searching, maybe even pushing for honesty and for these tough conversations to occur. And when they finally do present themselves with you, you incur additional distress and pain. These truths are painful. They resurrect painful memories. They create painful realizations for us. Yet deep down, we all know that genuine healing and healthy relationships have to be built on trust and open communication. Not perfection, not comfortability, but on honest truths, even if those truths are hard to digest. You're not meant to be emotionless. You're not meant to immediately forgive them. No, not at all. You're also not meant to pretend like this doesn't hurt you. What is being asked of you is to hold space, to be open to hearing the reality of someone that you care about and witnessing them, you, in this process. allowing these conversations to represent courage and compassion, accountability and understanding, possibly even growth. This is how we learn to have these conversations. The pain is not going to disappear, but it will. Oop, gotcha. I got you, baby. Boo, boo, boo. Gotcha. That's our episode on tough conversations and revelations. Now you know the truth about these conversations. You know both sides of it, your side, their side. You know what skills you're going to strengthen and practice with everyone in your life so that you're primed and ready to go at the moment your loved one comes to you with these conversations. You understand the value of them and also how they're going to help your relationship progress into the future in a healthy context. That's what I want for you. You know, we drop new episodes every single Thursday morning. I'll drop some links in the notes, put some stuff there in the notes for you to peek. Anyways, read. And we'll see you on the next episode. Ahoy.